Right, let's have a look at our first paper this morning. And we're starting off with first news for our first paper. The big story on first news is how we'll tackle vote buying during Osun gubernatorial poll, says INEC. INEC says no one will be allowed to corrupt the system. Then we also have an update here. Come, invest in Niger Delta, DQ woos people in diaspora as PAP begins radio sensitization program on TEM scheme, other activities. Putin orders Russians to fight on after key Ukraine city falls. And this story made headlines yesterday, and we're still taking it again on First News. Police kill kidnappers, rescue abducted Italian priest in Edo. So this is an update from the story of the kidnap that happened in Edo State. So the police have killed the kidnappers and rescued abducted Italian priest in Edo. Arsenal complete Gabriel Jesus signing from Man City. Government shuts Redeemer School after 5-year-old pupil drowns. When I hear stories of pupils drowning, it makes me really sad. It makes me wonder. I mean, you can't be too careful. And, thinking of having a pool in the house, which is something that I've always loved, right? It just makes you wonder how safe, how secure can those establishments really be? We need to pay an extra eye. Lock the pools if we must. It's really tough, and our thoughts and our prayers are with the families of those who's lost this one. I mean, I don't think that anybody would deliberately want their child to drown.
It's never deliberate, but I think it's also, every single time that a tragedy like this happens, a good time once again to remind us that we do not pay enough attention to those safety measures. The most tiny and the most basic ones. If you look around, in schools and hospitals and business places, a lot of them do not exist. We don't place that much importance in them. And when there's tragedy, because we repeatedly see that nobody really is punished for failures in one way or the other, it doesn't curtail it. Because it's not the first time that we're hearing about something like this.
And we've had a few school pupil drownings. I think we had another story like that earlier in the year.
Yeah.
And there needs to be somebody
needs to be held responsible. Somebody.
The school needs to be shut. The school should be shut. And I totally understand that you can't, when it comes to kids, you can't be too careful with kids. 1 minute the child is in the living room, the next minute the child is in the pool, and you're wondering, how did this child get there? But if you're running an establishment that caters to taking care of kids, teaching kids, you must have a lifeguard on standby 24 hours.
Absolutely.
Or for the duration of the students being in the school. That's such a sad story, and our thoughts and prayers are with the parents and the family members of this child who's passed. Now, still looking at the first newspaper, on the front page we have concerns as bandits kidnap another Catholic priest in Kaduna. So it's like -1 + 1. That's what's happening in this area of kidnapping. Hoodlums raise Enugu INEC office, destroy 748 ballot boxes. Christians persecution claims. Federal government replies. Five U.S. senators, I beg your pardon. And of course, this story will be taking, I'm certain, when Oye comes in later on in the show. 2022 WAFCON. Super Falcons lose 2-1 to South Africa in Group C opener. Yesterday, we talked about the fact that Bayana was playing Nigeria.
Remember, I had predictions.
And you had predictions that Bayana was going to, that Nigeria
was going to win 3 goals to 1.
Bayana, 3 goals to 1. Unfortunately, Bayana won 2 goals to 1. I did say let the best woman win, and it seems that the best women have won. 2 more stories here. Group tips El-Rufai as Tinubu's running mate. We are still on this conversation about the running mate for the vice presidential running mate for the All Progressives Congress. And the final story here. Yesterday, the 4th of July, was the United States Independence Day, and there's updates that 6 have been killed in shooting at U.S. Independence Day parade. Sad story there. But that's all that we can take on First News. Still in Nigeria, let's move over to our next paper.
Yeah, we're going to the Daily Trust newspapers, and I would just quickly mention that there's so much that needs to be done with regards to voter education, and I'm not talking now on teaching people how to vote, how to get their PVCs, but voter education, teaching people why they should vote, and the reasons they should even vote in the first place, and the reasons they should consider a candidate. Daily Trust. Despite extension, hope dims for 8,000 Nigerian pilgrims as Saudi airports to close in 24 hours. Excessive flight cancellations, delays trigger confusion, and also Nakan airlines assure pilgrims. Also, 12 killed as bandits, vigilantes clash in Plateau State. Federal government to recruit 1 million Nigerians for 2023 census. And it says here, Lagos residents consume 4.5 billion naira food daily, says the governor of the state, Babajide Sanwo-Olu. We can also find on the Daily Trust newspapers, VP slot, Southern PDP divided as Wike's silence unsettles Atiku and others. Federal government insists it's wrong time to remove fuel subsidy. And here it says here, mob lynches two for raping a 10-year-old in Enugu. Bethel Baptist High School, Kujara, and of course you can see there's also a continued update on the number of days those kids have been in captivity. Is 366 days, officially a year plus now. And we can also find here, COVID-19 vaccine is safe. Go get vaccinated, protect yourself. I think that's a message from UNICEF on the Daily Trust this morning. These are the big ones that we can find on this particular newspaper.
All right, now let's move over to our final paper this morning, the Namibian, the front page of the Namibian. In Namibia, it's not a very busy paper. Chieme brushes away talk of VP ambition as Masisi introduced him as Namibia's next vice president. We're talking elections all across Africa. Whilst we're talking about the incoming elections in 2023 in Nigeria, we also know that Kenya is planning their elections in August. So there's really elections going on around the continent. Old Monte Cristo vendors moved for their own safety, says Kanime. Bottom line, electricity tariffs in the current economic situation. Like we always say, it's the same on the line conversations. NAM designers' work shines at Durban, July. And final story here, Dr. Ndume continues to shine on global stage, bags $4 million Namibian dollars award in Canada. I beg your pardon, bags $4 million award in Canada. We'll use money to help more patients. Shout out to our doctors, our medical professionals on the continent that are making us proud, not just within the continent, but also outside. But that's all.